She had been getting weary every single winter for years. Every November, like clockwork, a seasonal scratchiness that dragged on for 2 weeks, a throat congestion that just wouldn't quit, and weeks of feeling drained, slow, and like her body had simply stopped cooperating with her. Her doctor told her it was just part of getting older. Her natural resilience wasn't what it used to be. That's just how it goes after 60. Take this, rest more, come back if it gets worse. She left every appointment with a routine she wasn't sure she needed, and a feeling she couldn't shake, that there had to be another way. But her neighbor Margaret, 73 years old, out in her garden every single morning, rain or shine, hadn't felt run down or knocked flat in 4 years. 4 years. Not a single season of feeling completely drained. Not a lingering winter lag. Nothing that put her in bed for days. Just 4 winters of staying completely vibrant and well while everyone around her got knocked flat. And when she finally got up the courage to ask Margaret what her secret was, Margaret didn't hand her a bottle of supplements or recite a list of synthetic vitamins. She just smiled, set down her garden gloves, and pointed to the plants growing all around her. "Everything I need is right here," she said. "I just learned how to use it. Today, we're going into that garden. We're looking at 10 plants and foods that seniors across the country are growing right in their own backyards, in pots on the porch, in raised beds, in small garden corners, to keep their natural defense systems strong naturally, affordably, and without depending on a store shelf every time the seasons change. Every single one of these can be grown in any climate. You don't need a green thumb. You don't need a lot of space. You just need to know what to plant, how to use it, and why it works." Number 8 is what most people have never heard of, and it may be the single most powerful asset for seasonal vitality on the entire list. Now, let's go through every single one. We're not just going to talk about what they do. We're going to talk about how to grow them, how to prepare them, and exactly how to use them so your body tracks the benefits. Starting right now in June. Number 1. Bell peppers. Everyone reaches for citrus when they think about vitamin C. It's what we were taught. Citrus juice in the morning, citrus slices when you feel winter arriving. But here's what almost nobody tells you. A single red bell pepper has nearly 3 times the vitamin C of a standard orange. 3 times. From something most of us are already growing or buying every week without even thinking about it as a wellness asset. Vitamin C is one of the most critical nutrients your immune pathways depend on. It supports your white blood cells, encouraging them to work efficiently. It reinforces your natural recovery timelines when seasonal challenges hit. And most importantly, it keeps your skin, your body's very first physical barrier against the outside environment, strong, elastic, and intact. Because your body cannot store it, you need it consistently, every single day, not just when you already feel completely run down. Here's how to grow them. Bell peppers love warmth and full sun, at least 6 hours a day. Because it's June, the nights stay reliably warm, which means you can transplant them outside right now without any fear of shock. They do beautifully in containers, which means even if you only have a porch or a balcony, you can grow these. Use a pot that's at least 12 inches deep, fill it with good quality potting mix, and water consistently. Peppers don't like to dry out completely between waterings in the early summer heat. Feed them with a balanced organic fertilizer once a month, and they will reward you generously all the way into fall. As for how to use them, eat them raw for the highest vitamin C content, because high heat does break down some of that delicate nutrition. Slice a red or orange pepper and enjoy it as a crisp snack in the afternoon. Add it raw to salads or dice it into scrambled eggs just before serving. The riper the pepper, the higher the vitamin C. So let them turn fully red or orange on the vine before you pick them, and you'll be getting the most out of every single bite. This is not a synthetic pill. This is living food, and food grown in your own backyard, eaten fresh, is a protective baseline your body recognizes and uses immediately. Number 2. Garlic chives. Garlic has one of the strongest defensive reputations of any food on earth, and for good reason. The natural compound allicin, which is released the moment you crush or chop a garlic clove, has been heavily studied for its unique protective properties. Most people know this. What most people don't realize is that growing standard garlic takes immense patience. You plant it in fall, wait through winter, and harvest the following summer, and then it's gone until the next year. Garlic chives give you almost everything garlic offers. In a resilient, perennial plant you can harvest every single week, from spring all the way through fall, for years without ever replanting. They contain allicin just like regular garlic. They offer excellent natural barrier support, are rich in tissue-soothing elements, pack a high density of vitamin C and vitamin K, and feature a wonderfully mild, pleasant garlic flavor that works in almost any dish without overpowering it. They are one of those plants that earns its place in your garden 10 times over. To grow them, June is a fantastic time to plant small divisions, clusters of bulbs that you can easily find at garden centers. Plant them in a sunny spot with well-drained soil, about 6 inches apart. They're not picky about soil quality, they tolerate partial shade, and they return every single year completely on their own. Once established, a single clump will keep dividing and spreading underground, giving you more free plants than you started with. To harvest, simply use kitchen scissors and snip the leaves about an inch above the ground. They regrow within days. Never pull, always snip when midsummer comes. They'll produce clusters of small white flowers that are also entirely edible and carry the exact same protective properties. To use them, chop the leaves finely and add them to anything: warm soups, stews, scrambled eggs, or rice dishes. For a more concentrated defense benefit, chop a generous handful and let them sit on the cutting board for about 5 minutes before adding them to your food. This resting period allows the allicin to fully activate. Daily, consistent use is the key. This is not a once-in-a-while remedy. This is a plant you add to your cooking the way Margaret did, every single day, quietly as a habit. And over months and years, your body notices the compounding support. Number 3. Bee balm. If you've ever walked through an old-fashioned cottage garden in the middle of summer, you've probably seen bee balm without knowing what it was. Tall, wild-looking, with brilliant red or purple flower heads that almost look like fireworks frozen mid-explosion. It's striking, it's dramatic, and it happens to be one of the most powerful protective herbs growing quietly in North American landscapes. Bee balm belongs to the mint family, and like most members of that family, it is wonderfully tenacious. It contains thymol, the exact same active compound that gives thyme its natural cleansing power, along with carvacrol and other volatile oils that have been shown to support the body's natural defenses against environmental challenges. Native Americans across dozens of tribes used bee balm traditionally for centuries to support full-body comfort and respiratory wellness. During the winter months, when British tea became unavailable after the Boston Tea Party, American colonists famously brewed bee balm into a blend they called Oswego tea. They were supporting their daily health naturally. To grow bee balm, plant it this June in full sun to partial shade in moist, well-drained soil. It spreads readily by underground runners, so give it room, or plant it in a contained bed or container where you don't mind it wandering. Water it regularly through this first summer season, and then mostly leave it alone. It will come back every year, spreading slowly into larger and more impressive clumps. To harvest, cut the leafy stems and flower heads, just as the blooms begin to open. That's when the volatile essential oils are most concentrated. You can use the leaves fresh or hang small bunches upside down in a shaded spot to dry them for winter storage. To use it, steep 1 to 2 tablespoons of fresh leaves, or 1 tablespoon of dried, in hot water for 10 to 15 minutes. Cover the cup while it steeps to keep the aromatic oils from escaping with the steam. Strain and drink. The flavor is bold and slightly spicy, like a beautiful cross between oregano and bergamot, and it's particularly comforting drunk as a warm evening blend when the seasons begin to turn. Number 4. Spearmint. There's a reason mint has been grown in kitchen gardens for thousands of years. Every major civilization that had access to it used it, medicinally, culinarily, and practically. The Romans planted it, the Greeks wrote about it, and medieval monks cultivated it alongside their most prized wellness assets. Spearmint provides profound, natural support for seasonal wellness. Botanical studies have demonstrated impressive protective properties within mint extracts. The natural menthol it contains soothes the airways, helps clear seasonal congestion, and opens the nasal passages when you're feeling run down or heavy. Beyond what it does during seasonal dips, spearmint behaves as a gentle daily tonic for the whole respiratory system. To grow it, and this is the beautiful part, you almost can't go wrong. June is the ultimate time to let mint take off. It grows in sun or shade, in dry soil or moist soil, in the ground or in pots. I highly recommend planting it in a container because mint will spread enthusiastically in open ground, and before long, it will take over the bed. A 12-inch pot on your porch or patio works perfectly. Water it regularly, don't let it dry out completely in the June sun, and snip from it often. The more you harvest, the more it grows. To prepare spearmint tea, gather a generous handful of fresh leaves, about 10 to 15 leaves per cup, and bruise them lightly between your palms before dropping them into your mug. This action immediately releases the essential oils. Pour hot water over the leaves and let it steep, covered, for 5 to 8 minutes. Strain, add a little honey if you like, and drink it warm. For continuous immune support, enjoy 1 to 2 cups daily during the colder months. For a quick alternative, fresh spearmint leaves can be added to smoothies, stirred into summer lemonade, or simply chewed fresh. Chewing the leaves releases the protective oils directly into the mouth and throat, delivering immediate comfort where it's needed most. Number 5. Elderflower. The elder tree is one of the oldest cornerstones of European ethnobotany. There are records of its use spanning back to ancient Egypt, and Hippocrates celebrated it as a universal asset. Today, while most people have at least heard of elderberry syrup, the gorgeous cream-colored flowers that bloom before those berries arrive are just as powerful and almost completely overlooked. Elderflower contains natural plant flavonoids that have been shown to directly support the activity of defensive immune cells. They are highly protective, tissue-soothing, and research has found that compounds in elderflower help reinforce the body's natural boundaries against environmental stressors. That is a meaningful distinction for anyone looking to stay strong through the winter. The elder shrub is also one of the most generous plants you can add to a backyard. It grows incredibly fast. It tolerates poor soil, wet conditions, partial shade, and general neglect. Once it's established, it requires almost nothing from you, and it gives you gorgeous flowers every spring and rich berries every fall. 2 separate harvests, 2 separate rounds of botanical support from a single plant that just keeps coming back. To grow elderflower, purchase a named variety from a reputable nursery. Plant it in a spot with at least partial sun and reasonably moist soil. Dig a hole twice as wide as the root ball. Set the plant in, backfill, and water deeply to help it anchor in the warm June ground. To harvest the flowers, wait until the flat clusters of tiny white blossoms are fully open, but not yet turning brown. Cut the whole flower head with several inches of stem. Use them fresh the same day, or hang them upside down in small bundles to dry. To make a comforting elderflower tea, use 2 to 3 tablespoons of fresh flowers or 1 tablespoon of dried flowers per cup of hot water. Steep covered for 10 minutes. Strain carefully through a fine mesh, and drink warm with a little honey. The flavor is light, deeply floral, and gently sweet, easily one of the most pleasant herbal teas you will ever create in your kitchen. We are halfway through the list, and there is so much more ahead, including number 8, which most people have truly never heard of. Yet it is one of the most heavily studied immune herbs in the world. Before we get there, if this video is helping you, please take just 1 second right now and hit that like button. It costs you nothing, and it helps YouTube show this to more people who are looking for exactly this kind of information. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do that now and hit the bell. Every week we cover more plants, more foods, and more natural ways to take care of your health right from your own backyard. Number 6. Pumpkin. Most people think of pumpkins as fall decorations sitting on a porch until they turn soft, or as the filling in a holiday pie. Very few people think of pumpkin as a defensive asset. But the seeds of this plant are one of the absolute richest plant-based sources of zinc, available anywhere on Earth. And zinc is completely non-negotiable when it comes to long-term immune vitality. Zinc is involved in almost every stage of your body's natural defense response. It helps your immune cells develop properly, supports how they communicate with each other, and plays a vital role in the production of natural antibodies. It's one of the first nutrients your body uses up when your system is working overtime. Pumpkin seeds deliver this vital zinc in a form your body absorbs perfectly and recognizes as real food rather than a synthetic pill. Beyond the seeds, the rich orange flesh of a ripe pumpkin is packed with beta-carotene, which your body converts into vitamin A. Vitamin A is critical for maintaining the health and integrity of the mucous membranes that line your respiratory tract. Those membranes are your body's frontline physical shield against airborne challenges, trapping and neutralizing threats before they can cause deep discomfort. To grow pumpkins, June is the absolute ideal sweet spot because all danger of frost has passed and the soil is perfectly warm. Direct sow seeds about an inch deep into a prepared garden bed or a large container. Pumpkins need space, but you can easily train the vines to grow upwards along a fence or over a low trellis to save ground space. Plant in full sun and amend the soil generously with compost, as pumpkins are heavy feeders. When harvest time arrives in the fall, cut the pumpkins from the vine with a few inches of stem attached and let them cure in a warm, dry spot for 10 days to harden the skin. A properly cured pumpkin can last several months in a cool, dry place, giving you fresh, zinc-rich seeds all through the winter months. To prepare the seeds, scoop them out, rinse off the pulp, and spread them on a baking sheet. Drizzle with a little olive oil and a pinch of salt. Then roast at 350 degrees for about 20 minutes until they are golden and crisp. Eating a small 1-ounce handful as a daily snack delivers roughly 20 to 30% of your daily zinc requirement directly from whole food. Number 7. Collard greens. There is timeless wisdom in traditional foods that modern science is still catching up to. Collard greens have been a foundational staple across Mediterranean, Southern, and Caribbean cultures for hundreds of years, not because people were reading laboratory data, but because these greens kept families robust and strong. They were a cornerstone of wellness in communities that relied on the land. Collard greens are loaded with vitamin C, vitamin K, folate, calcium, and beta-carotene. They contain active glucosinolates, a class of protective plant compounds with impressive tissue-soothing and immune-modulating properties. They beautifully support the liver, which plays a critical, underappreciated role in your body's natural cleansing and defense pathways by filtering elements from the blood. But the real reason collards deserve a place in your June garden is their incredible timing. Most summer vegetables completely stop producing when cold weather arrives. Collards thrive in the cold. They are cold hardy to the point where they keep standing and producing fresh leaves well after the first hard frost of winter. This means that when the seasonal elements are hitting the hardest, collard greens are sitting in your garden still growing, still vibrant, and still full of nutrients. To grow them, June is the perfect time to direct sow seeds or transplant young seedlings outdoors. Space them about 18 inches apart in full sun to partial shade. Collards are not fussy about soil, but they appreciate consistent moisture through the summer months to build their large, robust leaves. To harvest, start picking the outer leaves once the plant is well established, always leaving the central growing point intact so the plant keeps producing new growth from the center. One healthy plant will give you fresh leaves for months. To prepare them for the maximum immune benefit, steam them lightly for about 5 minutes over boiling water, just enough to soften the thick leaves without destroying the heat-sensitive vitamin C. Drizzle with a little olive oil and a squeeze of fresh lemon juice. The healthy fat from the olive oil helps your body absorb the fat-soluble nutrients while the lemon adds a fresh boost of vitamin C. It is a perfect seasonal defense meal straight from the soil. Number 8. Andrographis. Of everything on today's list, this is the one most people have truly never heard of. And every time I cover it, I get messages from viewers who cannot believe they've gone their whole lives without knowing it existed. Andrographis paniculata. In India, it has been a cornerstone of Ayurvedic practices for over 2,000 years. In traditional Eastern systems, it is the primary herb used to support respiratory comfort, manage body temperature, and soothe deep tissue tension. In Southeast Asia, it is so widely relied upon during seasonal changes that it is affectionately called the king of bitters. In Scandinavia, it has been a top-selling cold season remedy in pharmacies for decades, and in clinical trials, it has consistently and significantly demonstrated its ability to reduce both the severity and the duration of seasonal respiratory challenges, compared to a placebo. The active compound is called andrographylide. Botanical research has shown that it directly supports the activity of white blood cells, helps soothe discomfort in the respiratory tract, and reinforces natural cellular boundaries. Some researchers call it Indian echinacea. But many traditional herbalists argue that andrographis works even faster and with remarkably consistent results. To grow it, andrographis thrives as a warm season annual, meaning it loves the warm soil of June. Transplant your seedlings outdoors right now into a spot with full sun and well-drained soil. The plants grow to about 2 to 3 feet tall, produce beautiful small white flowers with purple markings, and are surprisingly low maintenance once established, handling summer heat with ease. To harvest, begin cutting the leafy stems once the plant is at least 18 inches tall, snipping them back by about a third at a time. Before the first frost of autumn arrives, cut the entire plant down and lay the stems out to dry in a well-ventilated space. Once fully dry, strip the leaves from the stems and store them in a glass jar to lock in their potency for the entire winter. To use andrographis, steep 1 to 2 teaspoons of dried crushed leaves in hot water for 10 to 15 minutes. And I want to be entirely honest with you. This tea is exceptionally bitter. It is one of the most bitter herbal teas you will ever taste. But that bitterness is part of the medicine. Bitter plant compounds naturally stimulate immune pathways within the digestive tract, which is where a massive portion of your body's immune defense actually lives. Sweeten the tea with a generous spoonful of raw honey, which adds its own brilliant antimicrobial properties, and drink it warm at the very first. Sign of seasonal scratchiness. It is an absolute game changer for shortening your recovery timeline. Number 9. Spilanthes. This one is going to completely surprise you. Spilanthes acmella, also called the toothache plant, the electric daisy, or buzz buttons, is a small, cheerful, unusual-looking plant that produces unique cone-shaped flowers ringed with yellow petals. They look completely harmless, and then you put one in your mouth and your entire tongue goes completely numb. That tingling, electric, almost shocking sensation comes from an organic compound called spilanthol. And spilanthol is one of the most fascinating and heavily explored immune assets in the plant world. Botanical research has shown that it significantly encourages the production of white blood cells, the front-line cells your body uses to identify and manage environmental challenges. It has also demonstrated powerful protective and cleansing properties in laboratory models. Some immunologists describe spilanthes as an immune activator, meaning it actively stimulates your natural defenses, waking up the system before seasonal challenges even arrive. To grow spilanthes, June is the absolute perfect time to transplant it or direct sow seeds outdoors, because it absolutely loves the summer heat and cannot tolerate cold or frost. Plant it in full sun and well-drained soil, water consistently, and watch it take off. It spreads into a low, bushy, cheerful mat that produces dozens of medicinal flower heads all summer long. To harvest, simply snip the flower heads as they reach full bloom. You can use them fresh immediately, which is when they are most potent, or dry them on a screen for a week before storing them in a sealed glass jar. To use them, you can add 1 or 2 fresh flowers directly into a morning smoothie. You'll feel that signature tingle, and that's how you know the active compounds are working. To make a potent immune tea, steep 3 to 4 dried flower heads in hot water for 10 minutes. Or, for a long-lasting winter tonic, fill a glass jar halfway with the flowers and cover them completely with raw apple cider vinegar. Let it sit in a cool, dark cupboard for 4 to 6 weeks, shaking it gently every few days. Strain the liquid into a dark bottle and take 1 tablespoon in a small glass of water every morning during the winter months to keep your immune system sharp and alert. Number 10. Blackcurrant. This is a fruit that most Americans have almost completely forgotten about, even though it is one of the most nutrient-dense, defensive fruits that can possibly be grown in a backyard garden. And the reason most Americans don't know it comes down to historical politics, not health. In the early 1900s, blackcurrant plants were restricted across the United States to protect the timber industry from a localized fungus. The restriction lasted for decades, and it was only lifted relatively recently. Meanwhile, in Europe and the United Kingdom, blackcurrant never stopped being a daily baseline staple. It is the core of legendary health drinks like Ribena, and European grandmothers have been reaching for blackcurrant syrup at the first sign of winter lag for generations. Here is why. A single serving of fresh blackcurrants contains more than 4 times the daily recommended intake of vitamin C, more than 4 times. That is roughly twice what you get from strawberries and 4 times what you get from citrus. Blackcurrants are also exceptionally rich in anthocyanins, the deep, dark pigments responsible for their rich color, which are among the most powerful antioxidants known to science. They help soothe systemic tissue stress, support the activity of natural killer cells, and protect the body at a cellular level from the kind of oxidative stress that accumulates as we age, keeping older immune systems highly resilient. To grow blackcurrants, June is a great time to care for a container-grown shrub purchased from a reputable nursery. Look for reliable varieties like Ben Hope or Titania. They prefer rich, moist, well-drained soil and do wonderfully in temperate climates. Dig a hole slightly deeper than the root ball, plant the shrub, water deeply to beat the early summer heat, and mulch generously around the base. In the first year, pinch off any flowers so the plant directs all its energy into building massive, deep roots. From the second year onward, it will produce fruit abundantly for 15 to 20 years. To harvest, pick the berries when they are fully ripe, deep black, slightly soft, and sweet tart. To use them for immune support, eat a small handful fresh in the summer, or freeze them to blend into smoothies all winter long. For an exceptional winter tonic, make a traditional syrup by simmering 2 cups of berries with a cup of water for 15 minutes. Mash them as they cook, strain the liquid through a fine mesh, and stir in a generous amount of raw honey while it's still warm. Store it in the refrigerator, and take 1 tablespoon stirred into hot water every morning throughout the cold season. You will be harvesting your own defensive support for the next 2 decades. 10 foods. Every single one of them is completely able to grow in your yard, your garden bed, or a collection of simple pots on your porch, right now in June. You don't need all 10. You never needed all 10. Even incorporating just 2 or 3 of these into your routine, grown well and used consistently through the year, can make a real, measurable difference in how your body responds when seasonal challenges arrive. But imagine having all 10. Margaret didn't have a medical degree. She didn't have a pharmacy. She had a garden, and she paid attention to it. And for 4 winters running, while the rest of the neighborhood got knocked flat, she just kept on going with vibrant energy. Now, you have everything she knew. If this video helped you today, please give it a like right now. It takes 1 second and it makes a genuine difference in helping this channel reach more people who are looking for exactly this kind of information. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so you never miss a video. Every single week we are here, covering more plants, more backyard foods, and more natural strategies to help you take care of your health on your own terms. And I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, which one of these 10 are you planting first? Or if you're already growing one of them, tell me how you use it. I read every single comment, and I learn from you just as much as I hope you learn from me. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Take care of your garden, and it will take care of you.